I'm good to go.
Oh, okay. Welcome to the Benzo Rehab Dungeon Religious Deconstruction episodes, brought to you by Hangover Gatorade.
Hell yeah, baby.
Not actually brought to you by Hangover Gatorade. I'm joined, as usual, by Jacob, friend of the dungeon. Jacob, how are you doing today?
Great.
Glad to hear it. So today we're gonna talk about something else, but I don't think that's gonna work out today. So we're gonna talk about ritual human sacrifice in the Bible, which is always a fun topic.
Hell yeah.
Just some good old fashioned killing other
Yeah, dude.
people for the sky god.
That fucking rocks.
Yeah. So the obvious story would be first Abraham being asked by God to kill his son Isaac.
Right.
He gets all the way to the top of the mountain that he's supposed to sacrifice him on top of, and the whole time he's lying to his son about what's going on, of course, because that's what you do when you sacrifice your child. You lie to him the whole way.
Yeah.
And then there's the awkward moment at the top of the hill, mountain or whatever, where the son is like, "Hey, I happened to notice that you didn't bring anything to sacrifice." And Abraham's like, I did actually, and you may wonder why you're here today."
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the Phoenicians actually did sacrifice children.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
It would have been like common to the area. Like it's not, you know what I mean? Like it's not outside the bounds of historical possibility that there was actually a lot more child sacrifice in biblical times than the Bible would depict, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to think about it. This is one of the first emerging religions after, like the ancient Sumerian times, right? And I don't know if we can look it up real quick. Something tells me that yeah, so there were ritual killings as a part of
Right.
ancient Mesopotamian culture. So, they're probably holding on to the old ways a little bit. And this would be a very progressive. Yeah. This would be a very progressive turn where so the Bible passage is Genesis 22, 1-18. Take your son, your only son, yes, Isaac, whom you love so much, and go to the land of Moriah. Sacrifice him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains, which I will point out to you.
And the whole point is that the Abrahamic God is more merciful than
right.
all the old storm gods who are like, yeah, give us your fucking. But like, my thing is though, like, kill your kids, like those gods are the cool gods. Like, fucking do it, Like,
I'm not sure if that's the official position of the Benzo Rehab Dungeon.
yeah, I guess maybe not, but no, like but then every other story where like God comes down and is like, I'm gonna show you guys how like great I am compared to all the other gods, and it's just like more rules. It's just more cool shit you're not allowed to do. Like,
we can't make a golden idol and worship it. Like, that shit's
no
awesome.
Golden calf. You can't have shrimp, or other shit. You gotta cut off the tip of your dick. Like,
That's a form
Where
of
all
that's a form of human sacrifice, really, if you think about it.
yeah, true, yeah, but yeah, like that should have been one of the first indications when God stays Abraham's hand, where Abraham should have been like, huh, this
Wait a
is
second.
yeah, what?
I thought I was supposed to kill this kid.
Yeah,
You made me
like
walk all the way here just so you could not let me
yeah.
kill my kid.
How do you come down off of that mental space where you're like, yeah, I'm gonna ice my kid. You know what I mean? Like where you're
Yeah.
just like, oh yeah, I gotta switch lanes really fast right now. It's like, but I don't know. I don't remember. Does God wind up then giving them something to actually
Yeah,
sacrifice instead?
a I believe it's a sheep. I don't have the full
Hmm.
Bible verse here. I looked up this reference thing that has all the instances of human sacrifice in the Bible.
Oh hell yeah,
I don't
that
have the full
rocks.
story, but as somebody who read a lot of the Bible, what it is a ram gets caught up in some brush nearby.
Hmm.
An angel appears and says, "Wait, no, don't kill your kid. We don't do that anymore. See, I'm different than the other gods. I'm not like Moloch and Mammoth or Mammon."
Yeah,
um, but yeah, then God causes a ram to get caught in the brush nearby, and they kill the ram instead. And I'm sure that relationship from then on out is never complicated or weird or anything. Like,
right.
hey, Dad, remember when you were gonna fucking kill me on top of the
Yeah,
mountain?
it kind of reminds me of. Have you seen what's the guy's name? Ari Aster, the guy who did Hereditary and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Midsommar, like
Hmm.
his very first film, the short film. Have you seen it?
I
The
have not.
Strange
No.
Thing. It's called The Strange Thing About the Jones, and it's about a son who, over the course of his life, repeatedly sexually assaults his father, and there's this awkward tension,
Yeah, that would
and
make things a little bit weird, I guess.
it's like the opposite dynamic of Abraham and Isaac. It's like,
Yeah, I
you
think in
know,
that instance you are okay to kill your kid, right?
yeah, for sure. But yeah, highly recommend. Ari Aster got in trouble because he is white and cast black actors in this family, and so somehow it was more problematic that he cast black actors
Well,
than
I'm
it
sure what he
was
was trying to
this.
say is that all black people are like this, right?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, the guy's
That's the point of the movie is all black people are
probably
like this. It can't
a
just be that
dunce and a
sometimes
racist.
that's yeah, it can't just be that sometimes like women or people of color can be shitty too. It's
Yeah.
that every single one of them is like that, and that's what he was saying.
Yeah. What hit us with some of the other hits from
Some of the other
biblical
good
human
good hits,
sacrifice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I'm partial to
Oh,
who
there's
was it?
there's Jephthah that burns his daughter.
That's I like that.
Yeah,
That's classic. Did she
huge
do
fan.
something she probably did something uh she disrespect him, or did she do something with boys?
No, actually,
Ruin the wheat
she
harvest.
didn't even do anything bad. Um, so at that time, the spirit of the Lord came upon Jephthah, and he went throughout the land of Gilead and Manasseh, including Mizpah and Gilead, and led an army against the Ammonites. And Jephthah made a vow to the Lord. He said, "If you give me victory over the Ammonites, I will give the Lord the first thing coming out of my house to greet me when I return in triumph.
Jesus.
I will sacrifice it as a offering." So he wins his war against the Ammonites, and like what a vow to make, right? Like you're already
Yeah.
acknowledging that like it's gonna come out of my house. So if it's not a cat or like a chicken or something, like it's a
Right.
human being.
Okay, so here's the thing about that, right? Is that for him to not add the rider of I'll slay the first animal that comes
Yeah,
out of my
of
house.
course.
Clearly it's like if it's a human, no fucking big. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's like we're getting this is junk history. This isn't actually how history works.
Oh,
But
for sure. No,
what?
no.
But
Yeah.
why not? I'm gonna say it anyways. Like, clearly, human sacrifice was so commonplace that he was just like, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, he
I
didn't
don't
even
know.
think about it one way or another, right?
It might be, Puddles the pig or Rocky the rooster, or it might be fucking Amy, my daughter.
Yeah.
I gotta do what I gotta do. You know,
Um,
what a pure existence where you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna,
yes.
like,
This is what they took from us.
right.
So yeah, he wins his battles against the Ammonites,
Right.
and then he comes home, and his daughter's the first thing to greet him. Obviously, like, "Yay, Daddy's back!" And then he's
Right.
like, "Got bad news for you."
Yeah. Yeah.
And so yeah, he kills her, and for some reason the Bible specifically mentions that she died a virgin, which
That's good.
yeah, virgin sacrifice wouldn't have been important or anything like that.
Right. Who's the one who this isn't sacrifice per se, but he winds up with his head on a silver platter to a broad because she wants it. Might even be one of the saints. I don't know. The Sunday school lesson is blurry.
Yeah, that's one that they taught in Sunday school a lot. I'm not recalling that one.
Maybe it's a Catholic one. Maybe it's something we cooked up.
It was John the Baptist. Was
Oh, okay. There we go.
yeah.
Nice.
John the Baptist. Where's the beheading part? This is what they have. Search for. Yeah, it's at the vengeful request of Herod's stepdaughter Salome.
Oh, Salome. Yeah, nice. There we go.
Yeah,
that rocks.
Shit rules. So then another one is in Deuteronomy 13:13 to 19, where God, when I say he, suppose you hear in one of the towns the Lord your God is giving you that some worthless rabble among you have led their fellow citizens astray by encouraging them to worship foreign gods. In such cases, you must examine the facts carefully, which is good. It's good that they're truth seeking here. If you find that it is true,
you don't want to hastily sacrifice.
Yeah,
someone,
no. If you're gonna burn an entire village to the ground,
due
which he
diligence.
says.
Oh shit! The entire village.
Yeah. So
nice.
if you find it is true and can prove that such a detestable act has occurred among you, you must attack that town and completely destroy all its inhabitants as well as all the livestock. Then you must pile all the plunder in the middle of the street and burn it. Put the entire town to the torch as a burnt offering to the Lord your God. That town must remain a ruin forever. It may never be rebuilt. Keep none of the plunder that has been set apart for destruction. Then the Lord will turn from his fierce anger and be merciful to you. He will have compassion on you and make you a great nation, just as he solemnly promised your ancestors. The Lord your God will be merciful only if you obey him and keep all the commands I am giving you today, doing what is pleasing to him. That's a special one.
Yeah, I mean that's just like basically saying like ethnic cleansing can be biblically sanctioned.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's I would imagine that this is the kind of thing that maybe the Crusaders leaned on when they were justifying. I mean, beyond that, that's a lot of what happened in like the early foundation of America was leaning on passages like this, like, oh, the Native Americans are teaching, false things, so we got to kill their entire village and whatever. That's where the doctrine of like what's the word I'm looking for? Not eminent domain, the biblical version. Manifest
manifest destiny,
destiny.
something like that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of where that originated from.
Hmm.
Well,
Nice.
there's some neat passages about human sacrifice.
Well, and then of course there's the best one yet. There's the crucifixion. That's
Yeah, and
a
yeah,
sacrifice of sorts, human sacrifice of sorts.
right. And that plays into the mythology of the entire Christian faith, where sacrificing something, obviously in the Old Testament, is a way of purifying yourself. Uh, you make something holy through sacrifice,
Hmm.
and by doing that, you earn favor with God. And that's why Jesus is referred to as the Lamb of Christ, or the Lamb of God,
The Lamb of God. Yeah.
um, because basically he's living a perfect life in which he can bear no blame, and then is put up on the cross as the perfect sacrifice to end all other sacrifices, which
Right.
is a good practice to stop, because that at that time they were still sacrificing animals and stuff like that. And not that I'm like anti-killing animals or anything, because I do
Hmm.
enjoy meat, but it's kind of a waste to just be killing animals all the time for the sky god, I guess. I don't know. Um, but
I don't
yeah,
know.
he basically put an end to that through that.
Yeah.
If you were a believer.
I mean, I guess my thing is like, you know, does like does the faith work better for the people who are sacrificing the animals versus those who aren't? Like, and what I mean, I guess, is if you consider, just sort of like an anodyne, boring Christianity, like what is practiced, versus something which would incorporate animal sacrifice
Well, yeah, it
along
does.
with
It does have
Christian,
material
like,
consequences in that way, right?
yeah, like like, because it is kind of, then it does get into the point of like, okay, well, what is magic? What does magic do if you do have something like, you know Santeria or voodoo or what have you, where there are more kind of involved rituals. And like, I don't know that much about like any of those faiths, other than that, you know certain things happen, but like, um it's, but also like, then uh, related, I guess, would be like the depiction of magic. So like, I don't know, I can't remember how much we've talked about like Harry Potter and like the evangelical war against Harry Potter,
Oh
but
man, that was
evangelicals
so
are,
serious.
well, they're so fearful of it that, you know like, you'd kind of have to be insane to read Harry Potter and think that the point of Harry Potter is that, like, wizards are good, because it would, uh, that would assume that wizards are a thing, which
Yeah,
wizards are not.
right.
So like, but it's also like that kind of belief, I think, is, it is sincerely held that, these books that represent but do not endorse the supernatural are actually an endorsement of it. And I'm sure you could kind of draw a similar, or a through line similarly to, you know uh the taboo on icons in Islam, and the hullabaloo over, Charlie Hebdo, or whatever
Mhm.
cartoonist is choosing to draw Muhammad. Because I think there's a certain kind of like liberal mentality which would say, paternalistic liberals would almost say like, Well, people don't really believe that it's a cultural sensitivity. It's not like a spiritual, because like I think liberals are so like devoid of any sort of larger than self, you know what I mean, like frame of reference, where they're just
Yeah,
like they
right.
can't imagine that people would actually believe. And it's the same thing that I think it's part of the problem with trying to combat the religious far right in this country, is that I just think like liberals just don't have any frame of reference for what, you know, people in the flyover states believe, because their faith is so different. um
Yeah, and I think a lot of it kind of, not to get too far into what liberalism is, but liberalism is kind of a removal from like sincerely held beliefs in a lot of ways, where
yeah,
um
sure.
like example of all the stuff that was happening with Black Lives Matter and whatnot, and it's like, what did the liberal establishment in the Senate do? They put on some kente cloth, they kneeled for a little bit, and then functionally did nothing
Hmm.
else. So they did the performative thing of saying like, yes, we understand, and we see that you have a problem. We'll wear kente cloth on camera, and then we'll go right back to the normal order of things, because
Yeah.
they can't imagine that people have like the sincerely held belief that the cops are killing them or whatever.
Right.
They're like, oh, okay, yeah, you believe that, that's fine. We'll play along for a little bit, and then that's not a real thing that we need to worry about. And I think it's the
Hmm.
same with liberals and how they treat like the Christian far right, because you were talking about how big of a issue Harry Potter was, and that came out when I was a younger kid. I can't remember exactly when it came out, but my uncle uh, was he led like the drama um, department of a Christian school,
Hmm.
and he had done so for years and years. And so, as somebody who's reading a lot of like plays and stuff like that, and he was interested in like, oh, there's this book that's come out and it's
Hmm.
hugely popular. I'm just gonna give it a read, see what it's about, see if maybe something could be like turned into a play out of it, sort of thing for the kids or whatever. And so he read it, and then he was talking about it at one of his like teacher meetings or something like that, and he damn near lost his job because he had just done the simple act of reading the book.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And so that's yeah, like
Yeah.
completely ruin your livelihood just for the simple act of looking at
Right.
a text that's now contraband or
It's like some OG cancel culture dynamics. It's not even like, well, why were you reading this? Are you
all
going to
right,
be a
yeah,
magician? Are
yeah.
you going to be a wizard now? Are you? It's just, oh my God, you're a wizard. We got to kick. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like, it's the same
and
way. Like,
it was funny because I never had any interest in reading Harry Potter, because I really didn't
right.
grow up like being interested in books at all. I grew up like out in the woods, like doing
Sure.
little boy shit. Um, and so like my parents heard that my uncle read it, and they were all like, "Oh, what's going on with
Hmm.
Uncle Michael was his name." And so like even within the family there was like a rift that was caused because he read it. Um, Disappeared for a moment.
Yeah, no, I'm here. There we go.
Okay. So yeah, there was like a rift in the family that formed because he had read it, and then my parents were like, if you want to read the books, we're not going to let you. And I was like, I had no interest in the first place, but thank you. Like that
Right.
that
Yeah.
actually makes
Yeah.
me want to read it, because I'm a rebellious little shit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just the Streisand effect. It's, you know, how do you get someone interested in something? Tell them they shouldn't be
yeah,
interested
of
in it.
course, yeah. Um,
But it's just, it's funny that those books were and still are such a concern, because their politics is so reactionary. You
Of
know what I
course,
mean?
yeah.
Like the idea that somehow this series is actually dangerous or
Bro,
poses
imagine my disappointment when I like actually I was much older and one of my
right,
friends had talked me into trying to read it and I was like, fine, whatever. And
right,
I only got through like one of the first chapters before I was like, dude, this is like young adult fiction and I'm a grown ass person, you know, like
right. Yeah, yeah.
but like
If you didn't catch the train young,
the
then
absurdity of all the spells are just like a bastardized version of Latin, like, oh yeah, it's really teaching me
yeah,
how to do fucking magic. Like my
yeah,
parents were deathly afraid that I would turn into some fucking Satan worshiper if I read this book and
right,
that I'd be casting curses on the fucking house or something, you know, like
yeah.
no, this is just Latin pronounced poorly. Like,
Well, that's actually interesting. I mean, I guess like the Harry Potter like backlash would be like kind of an epilogue to like the satanic panic kind of moral panic outcry on the right. I mean, because those books came out in what, the early aughts, late 90s, and
somewhere around there, yeah.
satanic panic was all the way up through the 90s.
Of course,
But
yeah.
again, something that is completely fake. There have been like zero confirmed cases of practicing Satanists who do that kind of whatever it was, hurting kids, kidnapping kids, killing kids. It's not those people that are kidnapping, killing kids. It's Bill Clinton and
The
Jeffrey
Catholic
Epstein.
Church.
Yeah, it's the Catholic. Yeah, it's the Catholic. It's Opus Dei. It's not some like goth teenagers.
Yeah. Which I'm sure there's been an instance or two, but it's not like specific to goth kid culture or anything like that, right?
No.
Like,
No.
of course, sick people come in all shapes and sizes and aesthetics, but
mostly white men. Mostly white men. Mostly white men.
All right, well, if you want to say it, but what I was gonna say is, if you calculate like which organizations have done the most harm to kids,
yeah.
the Catholic
It's the
Church.
Catholic Church. Yeah, dude, it's pretty bad.
It's less. I would say it's less of an epidemic in the Protestant Church, but it still happens, of course. And
yeah,
a lot of the same things that you'll see where you don't have quite the same level of organization as the Catholic Church does in the Protestant sphere. But you will get like there are certain denominations that have established like national or international church organizations attached to them, and they'll do very much the same thing where a priest or a pastor or whatever you want to call them according to the denomination you're in will do something with a kid or do something that makes them suspicious and maybe dangerous to kids, and they'll just move them to a different parish or different congregation or something like that,
Right.
So it's all the same, and it's when you have these large structures that have this I guess this desire to clean up their optics and not be viewed as like a organization that's
diddling kids.
Right?
At least they're not sacrificing them.
Right? Yeah. No, that's better. Yeah. Just
it only took them, 2,000 years.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Where do we go from here? We ended up on diddling kids. So.
Yeah,
don't take that out of context.
yeah. Don't clip that for a soundbite.
I'm not popular enough to have anybody clipping my stuff yet, so
that's good. Yeah.
But now that I said that, one of my asshole friends is gonna do it or something.
Yeah, we want to.
Whatever.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, I think what we talk about, human sacrifice.
Yeah, that's where we started. Then we went to satanic panic stuff and
right. I think yeah, it was definitely a logical progression, I think. From one horror to another. Trying to yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a blast through pretty much some of the worst most antisocial human behaviors.
For sure.
Do you know about you ever read any Agamben, Giorgio Agamben, the philosopher? He's got this thing. He does like a lot of like philology, so like etymology basically, but he talks a lot about this figure from Roman law called homo sacer, which is holy man, which is basically someone who cannot be killed for a sacrifice. Like they're someone who's been like basically stripped of all social life, and they can be killed by anyone for any reason other than as a sacrifice, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, no, I think that's something Bataille talks about as well, and that's where
something
that.
like the accursed share, something like
right,
that. Yeah, but it's kind of interesting, like, I guess. Well, yeah, I mean, like, there's definitely like life that is sacrificed, or fungible, just purely fungible, which is not great to, but it's just a resource.
Fungible human token.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's non-sacrificial, especially like, the Christians are the ones who are after it too. It's warfare. It's shit like that, that where it's literally just destruction. It's not meaningful if you sort of dispense with the notion that we fight wars for any of the reasons that the talking heads tell you that we're fighting them. Then it becomes pretty apparent that it's just about.
Yeah, there was a huge element in the military that saw the invasion of Iraq and Afghanistan as like a second holy war.
Right, sure. Yeah.
And
it's another crusade.
Things like, dipping bullets in bacon grease and shit like that, because that would have been
right. Yeah. Fun shit.
Yep. And it is kind of its own form of human sacrifice, because you're going over there and you're killing for God.
Yeah. Do you see if we're gonna talk about war, did you see the thing about Al-Awlaki, Anwar Al-Awlaki? There was a leak last week that he might have been a CIA asset.
Oh,
so
interesting.
Which is fun.
Yeah. I'm never surprised when I hear something like that.
No, of course not. Yeah, I mean, it's like
the CIA is such a it's like a Cthulhian monster at this point. It's just got tendrils that reach into every corner of
everywhere
the earth, and it's so obscured and like, yeah, the CIA terrifies me.
Yeah. Hopefully they don't listen to the pod.
They do.
They do, yeah. You think they do? Yeah.
They've been hacking through my my camera to watch me jack off, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, hell yeah. It rocks.
Well, on that note,
yeah,
let's go ahead and call it here. It's been about 30 minutes.
Sweet.
Around where we like to keep these talks.
Yeah. Lightning around through human sacrifice, and we should just call this one like every bad thing you can do to kids or something like that.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. Yeah. Bad stuff to kids. That's what I'll talk
about. Yeah. Fun stuff to do with your kids. Fun, wholesome activities. Fucking full-on evisceration, and maybe.
There we go. Yeah.
Others, yeah.
Maybe light them on fire because they greet you when you come home.
I'll leave it up to the Bible. I'm not going to speculate, because then I'm just going to get myself into trouble. I'm not the authority.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Fair enough.
All right.
Well, have a good rest of your day.
Yeah.
Hi, Michael Deebs here, with no gun pointed at my head. Please know that all content created for the Benzo Rehab Dungeon is and always will be freely available. However, if you would like to support this creation of content, we here at Camp Benzo would appreciate it, as the production itself is not free of cost. Anything donated will go to covering the various subscription fees maintained for content production or improving and expanding the content produced. If you're able to, please head on over to patreon.com/Benzo Rehab Dungeon. We also have shirts for sale on Teespring, all priced as low as we can get them without turning much or any profit. They are mostly so that you can show your loved ones that a necessary intervention may be on the horizon. Links to the merchandise storefront and our various social media profiles can be found on our link tree, which is the word link tr.ee/Benzo Rehab Dungeon. As always, we love you. Please take your medicine.